Alright guys, I'm actually gonna make a guide. I am gonna cover it from scratch, and the reason why is because lots of changes have actually happened, literally based on one actual update that we've gotten from code Closers, which benefited a lot of new players, a lot of us, at least people that, you know, geared in the beginning and geared before the update and all that. We were actually feeling some kind of, you know, way about it. I'm like, man, now people get to get the equipment so easily, yet we worked really hard to get where we're at now. So it's like all that time meant nothing. But at the same time, those players missed out on a lot of stuff that you needed. But then there's also the fact that the gearing process can literally go up to 74 million, at least what I've seen so far, for the maximum combat power. So you can get that much. So as you're leveling a character, when you make a character, you're going to be given a box. Let me go ahead and show you what that box is. The box that you see on the screen, that is actually the equipment that you get in the beginning of the game. I recommend to open that later. Open that when you reach level 70. It is this place here, Planar Gate. Once you reach at least level 70 while you're leveling, make sure to use this buff, and once you open it, make sure that you know that you're going to be playing, because it is not permanent. The maximum days you actually get is 30 days. We're gonna go to Hunter's Night. And the reason we're going here is because once you reach level cap, you're gonna end up here. But there's a thing with this. I recommend to do the missions because they actually end up giving you the equipment. Now with the new update, you can literally go from one area to the other without completing all the missions. They changed that. You no longer have to actually run all the missions in order to go to the next hub world after this. You used to have to complete all for Hunter's Night, all for Busan, and then in order to go from one area to the other, at least from this point on. Well, while you're leveling, at least for Wolf Dogs and Black Lambs specifically, you can skip for these. But from here, from Hunter's Night all the way to Fortress of White Knight, had to actually complete the missions in order to go to the next area. You're going to be given a set of trinkets, and these trinkets are Hunter's Night trinkets. You used to be able to craft it. Well, you can craft it. Let me show you. You can craft these, but it is completely useless to do so. Do not craft these whatsoever. They will be given to you for free. Not only that, they will be enhanced. Now let's not go ahead and talk about this right now, too much about Hunter's Night, because there are trinkets like these. And this. These are given to you as you complete missions in Union Division HQ. That's basically what it is. Now, these trinkets above here, this was obviously way into the game, so I'm not going to get into that yet. You're going to have this as temporary equipment first. This is actually physical equipment that I got from the box, only because, like I said, you had to make sure that you're actually going to play the character, because this stuff is not permanent. Yuri is hybrid, and you get 3 boxes, so you have to choose the specific one that you actually need. But since I did not do that, they all expired. But now that really doesn't matter because a lot of the materials are bank shareable now. As you complete all these missions, you're going to be given Hunter's Night trinkets. And you see this mission right here, you're already gonna have it. You don't even have to complete all the missions in Hunter's Night. And it's called Another Nightmare Unexpected Subject. This is actually the progression for triggers. Let's go ahead and complete this mission and I'll show you what you get. So you're gonna have to go to Fantasy World Dream Theater first. And the reason why I'm walking you through this is because people technically end up forgetting or where to resume on the equipment progress. We gotta go back to Hunter's Night. Remember that if you are lost, you can always click on the missions. Let me show you. You can click on current sector and figure out what you need to look for. If it's too much, if you have too much on your quest line. Now we gotta go to the stage of recollection. Alright, so the mission actually starts here. So we're gonna go ahead and go through this. Remember that because we actually have access to literally every mission, you can start any mission that you wish to do. And it actually has progression towards your equipment in many ways. But I am trying to go in order as much as possible for you to actually understand. Now that that dungeon is actually completed, we can go talk to the scientist. Now we go to the interdimensional material conversion Beatna. Now we actually have to run one of the bosses that actually was required to spam back in the day, that actually gave you those trinkets that I mentioned earlier here that you can craft, but then again I said it's useless if you actually run the missions. Now we talk to him again. Now this, we actually have to run a specific dungeon in Hunter's Night to actually get these equipment pieces.
자, 그럼 직접 가볼까?
Now there's actually something you should know about being a returning or a new player. You can be a returning player after 30 days. Now, once you're, you can literally log out and not log in for 30 days and you'll get benefits. And these benefits makes things a lot easier. The things that I'm doing right now, you really wouldn't necessarily have to be doing them. I did go over a video regarding what they actually give you and what you have to do and the order you have to go for what if you are a returning or a new player. So basically what I'm doing, I guess you can say that is considered raw. Like if you're doing an alternate character and if you have yet to complete anything, this is basically what you'd have to be doing. So let's go to Fantasy World Dream Theater. Now this also, remember, if you don't have any materials whatsoever, you are gonna have to go through this process. If you do, you can always bank share the materials over. Reverse theater and all of that is basically already unlocked for you because, like I said, you no longer have to run all these missions anymore. You have to be specific on what you choose, and that's what the problem comes in, because you don't know exactly what to go for. And imagine the overwhelming feeling people get when they start playing. Alright, so now, as you can see, I did not have these 3 slots here now. Now I have unlocked them. So you can now place any. You literally don't have to choose a specific one. Because these triggers will be useless. So let's go ahead and put these in. Now let's go ahead and pretend that I never got these. And I never got these. So you're gonna have to equip this, and this. And these are actually given to you as you progress through missions as well. And I'm over here sitting at 1 million. Let's go ahead and go to Reverse Theater. You unlock Reverse Theater by simply completing Hunter's Night. At least that's how it used to be. But now it's actually just given to you. And because of that, you can see that you have access to other missions that you didn't have before. And this here, I highly recommend to complete this. This can actually be located, Grummery Dimensional Gate can also be located in Planar Gate. So I recommend to either start here or start running this. Remember that you can always do easy mode. So if you're too weak, which is obviously 1.9 million, you're gonna have to end up going through easy mode. What I would do is I would actually start doing the Grummery Dimensional Gate simply because they end up giving you extra P&A stuff. Now I do have a P&A guide exactly on what to work on, so if you want to check that out specifically, you can. Reach level 80. You will be giving the Purification Ops Center mission. Now usually the gear you work on right now for Purification is useless unless you're talking about a set of trinkets. Trinkets specifically. I am not talking about triggers, I am not talking about the amplifier, I am not talking about the modules, nor am I talking about the core. We're gonna have to go in here and run the missions because they start off in this first area here. So either the options you have right now is to run the missions in Reverse Theater specifically to unlock raid, or to do the P&A missions, and you also have the option to run this. Now, like I said, remember how I said Hunter's Night gives you the trinkets that you need when you complete the missions? Well, the same thing applies here. This equipment was given to you and you actually had to work for it way back in the day, but it's different now. Literally the stuff they're giving you right now is something you don't really have to worry about, except these capsules. Now you get all these missions. Alright, so let's go ahead and transcend this equipment. The reason why is because you can't discard it, nor can you sell it. So yeah, there's that. So you have to actually upgrade it in order to get rid of this stuff. plus you can complete the mission too, so I guess there's that as well. Alright, let's go ahead and start here. Also, to keep in mind, as you saw literally just now, there's 6 dungeons in each boss. As you complete each dungeon, you press F4 because it takes you to the next level. So there's a maximum of 2 runs per day, unless you do not have VIP or VVIP, because remember, you're given extra runs if you do have VIP or VVIP. And to have VIP for at least 3 days, you get that from running Planar Gate missions, and that's exactly what I was talking about with the actual enhancement device that gives you that opportunity to wear equipment that's 5 levels higher than your current level. So you do actually get the VIP benefit for 3 days with that same mission that you completed. And if you don't have VIP whatsoever, and you can't get it as of right now, what you can do is go to the crafting machine, and yes, the crafting machine has changed. There's a bunch of different tabs now, so it's really complicated if you just started looking at this for the first time. And it still is complicated for me too, so I do tend to struggle looking for what I was looking for. But Code Fusion is basically always down on the very bottom. Now you would go to consumables, and if you look here, special ops support 1 day, you would craft that, and it gives you automatically specifically what you want is 1 entry count bonus for limited operation areas. So instead of just having 1 run for basically any dungeon, you are now given 2 runs for every dungeon. The weekend you are always automatically given an extra run, but it does stack. The extra run that you have in the weekend with the buff that you have on gives you 3 runs. Now that that was completed, we go to here as well. Basically, you have to complete these dungeons in order. You will be unlocking dungeons as you progress, and the equipment you will be given is things you need to wear. Alright, that mission's done. Now you're actually finally given a set of trinkets. Well, which is kind of funny because you start learning things as you're making this video. So I guess it's fully transcended now. At the time, you had to complete that mission, and then this would not be transcended yet. So apparently it is, and it's enhanced to +10. So let's go ahead and switch this. You're no longer gonna need these +14 trinkets. There we go. So now you're sitting at 2.4 million. And remember, this is without PNA. So you could literally unlock this right now, and your combat power will increase. And combat power specifically for this row of, which is offensive strain. Now, remember, passives are important too. They also, are a big part of your combat power increase, if you're so focused on trying to increase your combat power, which of course we all are. This is why the guide is being created. Alright, so as you can see, you completed surface mission. Unfortunately, you can't do reverse as of right now, simply because of the fact that you got a daily entry of 1. Even if you do have the buff for VIP, even if you do have the buff that you crafted in Code Fusion, remember also those do not stack. Code Fusion buff and VIP do not stack. You cannot run this more than once, unless you have a ticket, which you get from events or login rewards and all that stuff, but you can't, And remember, there's multiple options on what to do right now. Remember how you actually had to run raid and spam it and get these materials, make sure to not miss out on it? And those raids that I'm talking about specifically is Beelzebub raid, and as well as Asmodeus raid, because it is now located here It is no longer located on that NPC over there on the right over here. It's no longer located in there. The only raid that you will see is MK, which is something you will need. Now here, this is Beelzebub. You will have to run this first, and then you will have to run this. And you will be given equipment boxes, but remember, these do not matter right now. The reason why I say that is because at the time it did, but now once you complete this, you will be given a set of triggers, which is this here, and you will also be given the Beelzebub core and the actual modules, which is 2 modules, and it's this here, 2 modules, and then the actual core itself. You will literally be given this after you complete the solo missions here. The solo missions located there, and then you can ask for a carry to run this, so you don't have to go through all that process alone. So yes, this core here and these triggers right here you will be given. So you'll be sitting at this combat power once you complete that. Now this is without all this stuff, so remember, you could literally have a lot of combat power just based on this alone. And remember, the trinkets and the module that I was talking about earlier from actual Purification. If you literally do all this in a day, this is what you would be sitting at. $6 million combat power. Now remember, there's also PNA, so obviously this ends up being a part of what the combat power is. So yeah, the boost on Amplifier, they will give it to you as you progress through the missions in Busan. So yeah, this is what you will be sitting at, 6 million. Now, it's not over yet. Like I said, you have to complete, once you complete Beelzebub, which is specifically the core, at least once, and you get a carry for that. You are then required to run this as well, and it is 8 million combat power. You need assistance, you're going to need people to help you if you wish to actually complete this as soon as possible to catch up with the new content. You have to complete this once, and once that's done, you go here again to the same raid, but it's the red version, which is obviously harder, and you complete that at least once. And then you will be given this here for free. Let's say you haven't completed Purification stuff yet, and at least that one dungeon that we just ran, and you still need to, you know, do all that. Now you have all this. These 3 trinkets here, and then you have the one that you got from earlier, and then of course this here. 2 modules that they give you, and this core, and of course the Amplifier, which I do not have. I'm pretty sure I discarded it. But yeah, you will be given all of this. And remember, PNA, it is a big factor into your progression. So if you want to level that up too, you can go in here and run these dungeons that you will unlock over time as you make sure to progress through the missions itself. Once that's done, you now realize that you're pretty much almost finished, at least for the beginning. Now, yes, it's that easy. Basically, you just have to complete missions. Literally pretty much anywhere you go. Busan specifically to unlock other stuff, which is the equipment that you get. Yeah, I had to replace that, my bad. You can actually replace these and get better combat power. But yeah, what comes after Asmodeus? Well, it's Belphegor raid, which is MK raid. You will have to run the missions as well, yet again, to unlock this raid. That's basically what it is. we're not done yet. If you go to here, Centum City, remember this place is already unlocked. You don't have to complete all the missions. Literally, this will take forever to come here. If all this stuff was not out right now, you would have to go through all the process. It wouldn't be this easy to just explain. Like, oh, do all the missions and you'll automatically get all this stuff for free. It doesn't work like that, at least back then. Now it does, so there you go. You can get it for free. Now, you go in here. If you look here, there's Gina Grace, and then there's Omega Knight. You get these unlocked as you complete Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Now, with Gina Grace is solo only. She is important to actually clear. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at the crafting, yes, now you actually have to start crafting stuff. You go to Centum City, you go to Sector Epic Gear, and if you look here, it requires Sea Breeze and Bug Lumps. These Bug Lumps are earned by running Gina Grace herself. And you do get 6, I think, a day. So you're pretty much given this here, and you're gonna need 9 of them, which means 9 times 6. You're gonna need 54 bugs for this specifically. So only this specifically, added with 144, which is 198 promptitude bug lumps. Now, these are actually bank shareable. If you look at my bank, they're in here. You can always have alternate characters, easily gear them up to this combat power, and then just run and grab a bunch of bugs and easily bank share all of that. Now, remember that if you also want to increase your combat power as well, speaking of alternate characters, you're given the opportunity to increase your combat power by doing the teamwork buff, which obviously, like I said, increases your combat power. The first thing you'd want to go for teamwork buff is actually the actual specific promotion teams, which is the Veteranus, Sword and Girls, Rebellion, Goodfellas, Queen of Hearts, and yeah, that's it, these here. Because all you need is one character to fill up the whole bar. You have to end up getting your character to a certain point in order to actually be using them. Because you could have like level 12 characters or whatever or nothing, and they won't show up here. So you have to have them at level 90 or a certain promotion, which is actually the second promotion, in order to see them show up here in the character list, to put them in here. Anyways, there's also Omega Knight. After you complete Gina Grace and of course the Chapter 2 area and all that, you will be required to craft trinkets. Yes, again, trinkets yet again. If you go to Sector Epic Gear, you see these 3 trinkets here. You require this material specifically, which is the Hellfire Bug Lump. You need 3 of these, 6 of them, which is 18 Hellfire Bug Lumps, plus 40 each, which is 396 Bug Lumps total. Simply because of the requirements for this material, and of course for the trinkets itself. Now, like I said, these bugs are now bank shareable, so if you are struggling to actually, get these bugs, alternate characters are always going to be an option. Now, let's pull this out. Never mind, I do have the amplifier, I just found it. Alright. Now, if you look here, this is Speed Star module. This is what you get from Gina Grace. Now you replace it. There you go. Now, let's go ahead and replace the Busan trinkets. Let's say you just got the Omega Knight trinkets. You're gonna replace it. You're now at 10.6 million. Remember that there's also equipment that you can buy. You can purchase equipment that you can use. Yeah, you can. And if you look here, there's overflowing gear, and that is actually better than what this is that you get for free. So I recommend to actually buy that, or of course you can grind it. And the way you can grind it is by actually running Asmo bosses that I showed you earlier that you had to do to get that gear for free. You're given tickets. You see here? Every time you run any dungeon here, it doesn't have to be the core. And every time you run this 9 times, you're given these boxes for free after you complete all that. And you will be given actual tickets to enter this here. If you wish to not purchase any equipment to, you know, get better stats and all that, you can spam this dungeon here. Or this here, which is the red version. Like I said, this isn't over. We're not at the end yet. So we go to Fortress White Knight. You're gonna have to complete the actual missions here in Fortress White Knight. These missions do require a high combat power. So this is something you would have to do later. However, remember how I mentioned buying equipment? Well, let's go to the crafting machine and see what you're actually supposed to be looking for. Now, you go here, and you go to Sector Epic Gear, because remember, we're focusing on equipment right now. And you see these 3 modules? Oh, actually 4, my bad. You see these 4? You're gonna have to go for the crit specifically. Critical only, do not worry about the other ones. Crit module, so the 3rd one. If you want to, you can favorite it. You can go to list of favorites, and at any time, once you go to the crafting machine, you just click that. You know, usually you would have to end up grinding the materials in order to get what you need, right? Which is obviously what we had to do for these trinkets here and the module for Omega Knight and obviously Gina Grace. But look at this. Immortal Crystal. What does that say on the bottom? It trades on the black market. Immortal Dust. What does it say? It also trades on the black market. So literally, even if you don't have this dungeon unlocked, which is Dust and another Lucifer, if you don't have that dungeon, specifically Dust, because another Lucifer, we will need that for, you actually do have to grind that. But Immortal Dust and Immortal Crystals, you can just buy them on the market. You can buy these on the market. So you don't have to grind for this stuff if you just have the credits for it. So now you got the module, and obviously my character has yet to get the trinkets itself, but that's basically all you have to do. Buy the stuff off the market and get those trinkets in. She actually has this 2 overflowing modules. She has the actual crit module, and she has the trinkets that you can purchase. Now, the thing is, if you look here, this is not overflow. This is precise, which means, yes, there's something more than overflow equipment that's actually better. And that equipment is, of course, in K or aka Belphegor. if you look here, I did not mention this here, the receiver. The receiver, you can easily go to Ancient Dragon Historic site and get that same receiver, but it'll be temporary, it will not be permanent. If you look here, the tunings here, that would end up being SS tunings, so you could get that for now. You actually do have to craft this and work for it, and in order to actually craft this, you have to run this here, which is Dragon's Execution Ground. You will be given materials to craft this here. So yeah, basically if you want to actually look for where everything is for gear wise, always make sure to click on sector epic gear specifically, and then yeah, scroll down. And look, this is also says Dragon's Execution Ground, right? You can craft this weekly, 1 per week. You can craft this weekly, 1 per week, and that means you can run Dragon's Execution Round 3 times instead of just 2 times, and you can get those materials to craft that. And you can get Trader's Yoke, because you need those for this here, for this amplifier. And it's not over after that. Let's take this off. We go to Transcend. You do actually need to upgrade the amplifier, and it requires the orb, the Trader's Shackles, and Origin Gate. Now you might be wondering, where does the Trader's Shackle, orb, and Origin Gate come from? Origin Gate literally itself comes from any dungeon in this area specifically. This here, Trader's Shackles, orbs, and Trader's Handcuffs. This is the only material that can be bank shared. So if you have alternate characters and you wish to craft it for your character, you can get Trader's Shackles. Now, what if you really don't want to do this, you know? Like, what if you don't want to save up materials to get the 100% chance? Because yes, there is a chance, if you were to transcend, if you see like an option, 2 options, or more than, obviously more than 1 option, that means you have a chance to fail from transcending to this here. Now, you can add things, but of course I don't have anything in my inventory. So now, let's pull these out. At least 1 shape memory device, and at least 1 transcendental elixir, just to show you what I'm talking about. You need a whole bunch of actual elixirs. You need a lot of them. There's never going to be enough, because it is a chance that you know, will run out. So let's go here, and let's go to add supplements. This is it. This is if you wish to not upgrade to 100%. Remember, there is a success chance rate, which can be actually gotten from this here specifically. You can also, you know, get that for a success chance, but just because it says 0% doesn't mean you can't transcend it whatsoever. No, I actually was able to try this out multiple times, and the reason why we have this elixir here is because this literally, let's say you only have this much, let's say you only have 4, you only have 8, and you only have 50 Origin Gate, and let's say again you only have 2 million credits. If you have a bunch of these and you continuously try by upgrading this, your elixirs will be consumed every time you try, every failure you get, but the shape memory device will not. The only time it will be consumed is after you succeed transcending this. Now, the reason why this says 100% here is because it requires more materials, and you don't have, let's say you don't have enough for that, and you want to get it now. Well, you need these 2. These are both tradable, and they can also be put in the black market, so if you can't find it, or if you don't have any, you can buy them. Again, credits again, yet again buying. Or, remember, there's certain events as well that give you this. Events give you this stuff. So there's never going to be enough transcendental elixirs. So imagine how many times you fail. You always need to make sure that you have a lot of elixirs. There's never going to be enough.